Welcome to KQEG and Seven River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Harrison. Each week, inside look into sports, into wellness, and into fitness, along with some special guests. Today, the show is catching up with two former La Crosse Logan star athletes. And we're catching up with them, and we're going to talk about a little bit about their high school days, but transition quickly into their college years. Jarrett and Tore Washa, my guests today. Well, starting with you, Tore. Fourth time on the show, yeah. Breaking all kinds of records. The last time you were on the show, we talked about, it was an award-winning show, most highly watched show we've ever done in 5 years, and the name of the show was Broken Crayons, Still Color. Now, a lot of our viewers are thinking, what does that mean? It was tremendous, and it fit you, and it fit Kamisha. But talk about why Broken Crayons, Still Color describes you.
Yeah, I'm entering my junior year of college, but when I was in 4th grade, I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and that's just been something that I've been having to manage and deal with all throughout my life, but I make it work, and I'm doing okay.
Despite a chink in the armor, despite a setback, you have set all kinds of records. High school, you set records, and you defied the odds, and you are an inspiration to anyone watching the show and your teammates. I mean, that's why you're back on the show, because you are an inspiration.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't like to let it slow me down, to say the least, and I don't want to let it keep me from doing what I know I'm capable of. Just
as a quick review, you almost did not compete as a senior in the state meet because you had some medical issues the night before. Yeah,
my blood sugars were just kind of not in my favor, I guess you could say, and I almost had to pull out from my race from it, but it was state, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to make do with it and deal with the punches later.
Well, Andrew, you're an inspiration, too, just finishing your freshman year. And, of course, with Tore just getting into her junior year, your transition is a little bit more familiar because you just graduated a year ago. And was that a tough transition for you?
It was. You know, high school to college is always a tough transition. But I think my track coaches at UW and the teammates definitely helped out with that transition. They're a really great group of people.
Was it tough academically, though? Because just reflecting back to my days, high school, college, it was a little bit of an eye-opener.
Right, yeah. I mean, that was the same for me as well academically. I mean, high school I had like a 3.96 when I had finished, and then this year I came out with a 2.7 ending my freshman year. So, I mean, gen eds, I mean, it was a little tougher transitioning, but I definitely think now that sophomore year I'll be able to make it work.
So that 2.7 GPA, obviously, knowing you a little bit like I do, that was your expectations were much higher.
Much higher than that, yes.
And that didn't set very well with you.
No,
and maybe there's a silver lining to that into the future, and it's like I have to get my act together. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that would be pretty accurate. I definitely think that my professors and coaches have definitely made me realize as well that, hey, all right, your freshman year is over, and now you need to get the ball rolling, and I need to get the game going.
But a lot of people struggle with that, and so it's not, it's not a reflection on an effort. It's just kind of hard to balance everything. Let's reflect back a little bit to your transition, even though it was a while ago. Did you struggle with a little bit of that?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different because, I mean, you're living on your own, and it's kind of like all on you to make sure you're studying. Like, you don't have teachers, or you don't have even parents, like, leaning over your shoulder, like, hey, make sure you hit the books. Like, it's all on your own time. And, like, being an athlete sometimes, like, coming home from practice, like, we just want to, like, lay down and just, like, take a nap. But it's like, no, like, we got to hit the textbooks. And
so a lot of people struggle, not just college students, high school students, but adults in time management and getting work and work habits and prioritizing things. Are you better at that now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think the more that I'm involved with, it's easier for me to manage my time because I know, like, I have to be somewhere at this time and I have to get stuff done. And, like, whenever I do have free time, I, like, know what I have to dedicate it to.
Well, Andrew, you were a multi-sport athlete in high school. You played soccer, and you you sprint, jump, throws. I watched you compete in both sports. And as you said, you were an academic standout, top 5% of your class.
Yep.
Some defining moments for you as a Ranger athlete.
Well, I would say really my entire senior year, when I started becoming better at throwing, which is the event that I'm in now, currently in college. It was definitely really cool to actually start achieving good things in a sport that I had been training so hard at for so much time.
Well, you were an excellent athlete in high school. Here's what Coach Buck says about you. He's a good friend of mine. And he said, Andrew is an example of an athlete that may not have been a standout at the high school level, but he will be a force in coming years for UWL, the reigning national outdoor champ. And he says he's excited to see what's in the next 3 years, what is in store for Andrew Jarrett. What is in store for you?
Well, I hope to keep throwing farther. I hope to do really well at the national level, help my teammates, maybe get a national champion award. You never know.
Your throws coach, Coach Phil, says this about you, Andrew. He says, for picking up a brand new event and conceptually not knowing much, your enthusiasm helped you succeed, and you always bring a great attitude to practice. You have potential junior championships, possibly weight throw, in jeopardy because of your efforts, and you could be a USA competitor and possibly an Olympic athlete if you put your mind to it. Now, those are two really lofty comments about you, Andrew.
Yeah, and it means the world to me coming from them because they've taught me so much, especially Phil. I really owe it to him for being able to pick up the event so quickly. He's a terrific coach.
Well, what are your goals? I mean, you just finished your freshman year, and you have 3 more years, and who knows, the sky is the limit.
That's right.
So do you have realistic goals?
Just keep throwing farther. That's what Phil always tells me. Just keep throwing farther, make the next throw better than the last one, and then you'll go places.
Tore, we talked about your high school success in previous shows. And you were a multi-sport athlete too. I watched you play tennis. You had a lot of success in tennis. And you were supposed to teach me a little bit more about the game, but we never connected because I like to play tennis, but I'm not nearly as gifted as you are. But you still play a little bit of tennis?
Yeah, I still play a lot. It's a good family sport for my family and I. We like to just go out a couple times a week in the summertime and just hit balls for a while.
Well, you had your accomplishments in your first 2 years were significant. I don't know if a lot of our viewers know, but at UWL, the 200, 400, 4x1, 4x4 relay, multiple events. Talk about your first 2 years, what you accomplished, both indoor and outdoor.
My freshman year, my goal was to just make it to conference and then make it to the Drake relays, and I met both of those goals. And at the Drake relays, my 4x2, we ran the second fastest time in school history for UWL, so that was pretty cool. We just missed the school record by a couple hundredths of a second. But so that was cool just to be honored as one of the relay members, and then just getting to compete at the conference and help add on to the team championship was pretty cool.
Well, you're a little humble because you even did more than that. I mean, you were indoor team champ 16, 17, outdoor second in the outdoor conference in the 4x1. I mean, you've surpassed perhaps any goals that you set for yourself. I mean, you have accomplished more than what many people thought Tore Washa would do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely never thought I would be competing at the national level as a sophomore, so that was pretty cool experience.
So is a lot of that, you think, just your sheer determination in defeating the odds, and where some people say, you had a good high school career, you might be an average college athlete, but you showed them differently?
Yeah, I kind of like to have a mindset of I want to go prove myself So I just kind of keep that in the back of my mind when I'm at practice and when I'm competing. I just want to go out there, prove myself, and show what I know I can do.
So mental discipline is a big part of it then?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Well, two outstanding athletes. We're going to talk more and get to know them a little bit closer, up close and personal, right after this.
After 80 years in our beautiful area, it's easy to find a home that's kept comfortable by Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. To say thank you, we're celebrating our 80th anniversary in style.
When you install a new Carrier residential air conditioner now until June 27th from our La Crosse or Winona locations, get 50% of your purchase back if there's a new record high temp on July 4th. Call now for complete details.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, a look back at and catching up with Andrew Jarrett and Tore Washa. UW Track and Field stars. Well, Andrew, family support, a big part of who you are. Mom, a UWL star in her own right when she was young. And you have a big family, and they're all supportive of Big Brother Andrew.
That's right, yeah. They always come to my track meets whenever they can. My mom is always, she was a big inspiration as well. She was an All-American at UWL in '87. And my dad too, you know, just helping me out with life in general. So they're all a really big help and support.
And so your younger siblings, there's athleticism there too.
There is, yes. My brother, Marcus, he's currently a distance runner at Logan. And then I have two siblings who are currently runners at Lincoln Middle School and Blessed Sacrament Elementary. And they're pretty fast too, my sister Lauren and my brother Matthew.
And so they're going to be Logan Rangers someday too then?
They sure will, yes, that's right.
Tore, I know family's a big part of who you are because your mom and dad are friends and of ours, and your sister has been on the show. And she just finishing graduating, and she's a delight to get to know too. But they've always been behind big sister Tore.
No, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be where I am without my family support and just like loving me, and I don't know, just like being there for me.
That's pretty special.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you work part-time too, and in the summer, you know, being an elite athlete is not just training during the season. And, you know, it's perhaps a teachable lesson for young people that if you're going to be outstanding and you're going to be a high school star in both academics and athletic, you have to pay the price. And a lot of people don't like to pay the price, which means off-season conditioning and so on. Talk about your commitment to that.
Definitely. I guess this year at Nationals, just coming up 1,000th of a second of making finals, that really just stuck with me. And like every day when I wake up, I just like think about like how close we were to making finals. So that's like my motivation to get out and go run and go lift and like get my workout in.
What is your typical schedule during the off season? So you don't really take time off, do you?
No, not really. Like they suggest and they like us to take like about probably 2 weeks off right after Nationals and going into the summer times, kind of give our bodies like a mental and physical break. And then it just kind of starts back up again.
Yeah, and for you, Andrew, too, you know, when I read these quotes from your coaches, you're probably going to, right after the show, you're going to put your track gear on and go for a run and go work out, knowing how much confidence they have in your future. But you're dedicated in the off season with your training, too, aren't you?
Yes, and I had a similar situation that Tore did, actually. I missed state track in high school by 2 inches, just by that much. And that summer, I really put in a lot of lifting after that, and I think those 3 months really did help me get a head start in my freshman year.
So young people watching the show that want to be elite high school athletes in college, any other advice that you would give them?
Stay focused on your goals, and I would definitely train during the off season. Training during the off season is honestly the biggest and the best thing that you can do in order to be successful during season.
What about nutrition? That's a huge component to becoming successul.
That it is a really huge component, and my parents, my mom being a track athlete, makes sure that we eat healthy at home. So like if you're finishing practice, don't go to McDonald's after you go to practice. Go and get some like actual food. It would be a terrific thing for you to do to your
Good.
body.
Or if you go to McDonald's, maybe a salad. Because,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Because we go there once in a while as a family.
That's
and,
true, yeah.
And friends of ours own the McDonald's, and it's, there's a lot of nutritious things there too. But nutrition's a big part of who Tore Washa is.
No, yeah, definitely. Always just making sure like what I'm putting in my body is like good for me and is gonna help me go one step forward instead of one step back.
And it does that too.
Yeah.
Well, I like, I'm big into quotes, and I'm going to get your reaction to a couple of them that inspire me. Here's one from Wilma Rudolph. I don't know if you know the name, but a huge Olympic athlete years ago. She says this, to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift.
Wow.
Many people don't perhaps understand that, and they don't really always give their best because they never accomplish perhaps what they set out for. But all of us have a gift. You both have a gift. Sacrificing less than your ultimate effort is letting yourself down. React to that, Andrew.
I would agree. The opportunity to compete really is a gift, and I agree with her 100%. If you don't take that opportunity, you could end up regretting it for the rest of your life.
And you have a gift too, Tore, even though you've had some setbacks.
Yeah, no, definitely. I always think about like if we have a certain time that we have to hit in practice, it's like say our tempo pace is like 40 to 45, like shooting a hit on like that lower end, like I could easily comfortably come in at the higher end, but like pushing myself to like what my body can do, so I guess like staying uncomfortable.
Your coach at UW, who's a friend of mine, Katie Wagner, said this about you, Tore Washa. She said, Tore is a great asset to the program, her athletic ability and her fierce competitive spirit. She talks about you, your transition to college from high school was not the easiest, was it?
No. It was definitely different going from training, like actual like training during track from like a 3-month span to a 9-month span. And I guess the workouts were so different, and it took me a long time to like understand like why we were doing things a certain way, and just like took my body a long time to like adjust to that.
And Coach Wagner goes on to say that if Tore continues to push herself for the next 2 years, she could have great success at the national level.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Hosting nationals next year right on our home track is definitely a big motivating factor for like wanting to succeed like right in our backyard and do it where we know how to do it best.
I think there's something special about being a track and field athlete, and I've always thought that. A lot of people watch the Olympics every 4 years and then they kind of just tune it out until 4 years later. But I see it differently in terms of watching the high school and college meets, and most recently being at the high school championships here at UWL. And to see the efforts, which there's a lot of pain, and oftentimes it leads to pleasure and sometimes it doesn't, but just to watch those athletes compete to the level that maybe in other sports you don't always see, that is something special, isn't it, Andrew?
It really is, yeah. And there's just a diverse array of track athletes as well, and they all put in the time and effort that they need to succeed, and it's really, really cool.
All of us have sayings and philosophies and goals and so on, and Teddy Roosevelt is one of your favorites in his quote in terms of how you lead your life. What is that, Andrew?
Yeah, so Theodore Roosevelt, he said, if you believe you can do it, you're already halfway there. And so I think I didn't let what people thought a freshman could throw, I didn't want to let that limit me. I wanted to believe that I could achieve more. And I think really that is half of what it is just believing.
Yeah, and so kind of from the neck up where a lot of people struggle, and of course, knowing you as well as I do, Tore, you could be on the show 4 times, but you have lots of different ways that you sort of guide through your life, but one of them is a path that a lot of people don't take and don't appreciate.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that it doesn't matter like how long it takes you to get somewhere, like regardless, like you're gonna get there, but like you're gonna learn a lot along the way.
Yeah, and by being patient and appreciating every minute and every moment on this earth is certainly very special, no question about it. So, summer plans, anything special for you guys?
Training.
Yeah, training.
Training and work.
And work at Festival?
Yep.
Festival, a good place to work because not only good part-time money, but life lessons there in terms of how to conduct yourself, how to treat people.
Yeah, at Festival, we kind of always treat, I guess, like they're more friends than customers, you know. We always want them to have a pleasant shopping experience, and I think that really can make you a really better person down the road. I mean, it's certainly brought up my confidence level and helped me appreciate the people I meet more.
Were you always confident when you were younger, too?
I was not. I was a very shy person when I was a wee little kid, but I think just talking to people and engaging in conversation really brought me out of my comfort zone.
Who inspired that?
Well, I suppose it would have to be my boss, you know, at Festival, Nick Beringer. He's a great front-end manager, and he conducts his work really well.
Tori, you have no problem with people skills, do you?
No.
It comes from mom and dad, I suspect, but treat others the way you want to be treated. Something tells me that really describes you.
No, that definitely does, because I've had people treat me excellent, and I've had people treat me, and I'm like, why are you treating me this way? Like, you don't even know me. And, like, I look at it as, like, why would you ever want to treat somebody like that? Like, you wouldn't want to be treated that way. So just, like the quote says, treat others the way you want to be treated.
20 years from now, what's Tore Washa going to be doing?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. Hopefully, I just want to be happy. That's, I guess, I don't know.
That's good philosophy. You're not sure where.
Not sure where.
Not sure what you're going to be doing, but you're going to be
That's what I'm
smiling.
going to be doing. I'm going to be happy.
You might be homeless, but you might be smiling at least.
Yeah.
And Andrew, what career, major, tell us a little bit about you.
I'm currently a geography major, so I want to work in climatology and be a climate scientist, maybe something like that. I hope to be working outdoors when I'm older. I don't want to be sitting...
You don't want to be in a cubicle somewhere.
No, definitely not. I love the outdoors. I absolutely do. And
Good.
I think if I could be working outside, that'd be terrific for me.
Well, what a great interview this week with Andrew Jarrett and with Tore Washa. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
After 80 years in our beautiful area, it's easy to find a home that's kept comfortable by Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. To say thank you, we're celebrating our 80th anniversary in style.
When you install a new Carrier residential air conditioner now until June 27th from our La Crosse or Winona locations, get 50% of your purchase back if there's a new record high temp on July 4th. Call now for complete details.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Well, we hope you enjoyed our coverage of regular season as well as postseason baseball here on KQEG. We are excited to watch both Aquinas and West Salem as they compete at the state baseball tournament later this week. Also, congratulations to the Aquinas girls soccer as they again return to state tournament play later this week in Milwaukee. Plenty of youth and adult recreational opportunities on the calendar here in the Coulee region during the summer months. We will discuss many of these programs throughout the next 2 months. We will also have players from the La Crosse Loggers baseball team here on Seven Rivers Sports in July. We are broadening our list of guests as we continue to look for ways to improve the show for you, our viewer. If you have any suggestions on an upcoming guest, we would love to hear from you. Check your local listings as we bring you Knights of Thunder Racing every Thursday and every Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Thanks for joining us this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, encouraging you to have a safe, active, and a healthy week ahead.